Hello, welcome back to the stream. I'm Jun-chan, and it's the 17th episode of Comonadic Explorations. That's a lot, and I think I need to sort of arc back towards what led us into this exploration in the first place. So let's see what that means. What we were doing last time was actually going quite deep into the rabbit hole of how to use comonadic recursion schemes and make those stack safe in PureScript. And yeah, that's pretty deep of a rabbit hole. The reason we went there is because I was trying to identify a pattern inside the Comonadic UI exploration, which sort of step by step takes a monadic action and matches it with a monadic interpretation and move the comonad forward. And I thought that maybe we could make state sort of itself, the state that is passed through each iteration, something that would be part of a recursion scheme and maybe therefore also a comonad somehow. I still think that's possible, but I think that we're a little bit far off track, and I kind of want to get back to what I was doing before I went a little bit down the rabbit hole here. And so I think I want to capture some of where we were, and I think some of it is already captured here. The Comonadic component with FRP style input. That's a bit the aim of trying to decouple the aspect that right now for Comonadic UI attached to React, the input management or the monadic action generation is really tightly coupled to React callback or DOM events, and that doesn't look very symmetric or orderly to my mind, because it requires this double inversion of control in order to get those monadic actions to properly be fed back into a comonad that ends up also being a comonad of like a higher rank comonad, basically a comonad that very much feels like CPS style. And that's a lot of abstractions to try and make sense of the bottom layer of the framework. And I'd like to see if I can make that more regular by transforming at least this bottom layer on something that looks more like inputs and outputs. And also all of this led us to thinking about maybe how much more we could compose comonads, and comonad sheets, for instance, is one of these example in Haskell that seem to be looking at comonad composition, and particularly how to make things depend on fixed points, both for resolution of references of in like the spatial dimension of a sheet, but also in terms of the repetition of time across the repetition of these spaces across time. But I think this is, I mean, it's been really interesting. I'd love to, and I think to follow Master Kmet's recommendation here, I should definitely do space repetition and go back to some of the stuff that we were doing there. But I'll pin right now, basically recursion schemes, or comonadic, maybe comonadic recursion schemes as a possible abstraction for stateful folding. something like that. I think it's not a very happy title, but I think it will do. And I think we want to deal with stack safety, but that's really sort of a accidental complexity here, so to speak, at least because we're in PureScript. And there's still something about Comonadic composition that I'm not quite sure about, which sort of relates to this idea, recursion schemes as composing state, maybe it's stateful folding of comonads as recursion scheme composition, something like that. And what was I saying? Ah, yes. Well, this idea of maybe comonadic. Hey, Peter. Software and game development category. Okay. Be able to discover each other much more easily. Okay. Yeah. Software and game development. That's cool. What category am I on right now? Science and technology. Yeah. Software and game development. Done. I am in. Thank you, Peter. Much appreciated. Okay, so yeah, Comonadic composition. Yeah, cool. Comonadic composition. Things for like data flow, and thank you. You too. Have fun. What else did I have? That's in Comonad. Recursion scheme we have. Ah, yeah, co-effects. Yes, that's another big category of things. Okay, so that's all good. What do I want to come back to? Well, I realized that I actually copied this to here, so maybe we go back in time here, like so, and yeah, and then I'd like to go back to basically. I'd like to go into PureScript React Explore, but PureScript React Explore basic, basically. So let me write this down. In fact, basic hooks. That's sort of where I want to go back to today, because that's, I think, is the proper middle ground to doing some work on the framework side and hopefully translate what I've learned. And the way to deal with hooks is going to be one of the real complexities here. And see if I can attach things. And so maybe I'll try to attach this first to PureScript React Explore Basic, and then to PureScript React Explore, PureScript React Basic hooks with the Explore in the middle. So let's see if we can do something like that. And I think that requires a new log, and we're going to call it Explore Basic. Or maybe, yeah, Explore Basic for now. And we'll maybe try Explore Basic hooks. So Explore Basic. Okay, so we should already have some things that are in libraries that go exactly in this direction. PureScript React Basic Explore. Actually, that's PureScript React Basic Explore. And so it should be Basic Hooks Explore. And so we'll call this Basic Explorer. Okay. React Basic Explorer here. And yeah, we'll open PureScript React Basic Explorer. So let's do that. PureScript React Basic Explorer. so what do we have here? We have our examples. Which version of Explore do we have? We have the Phil Freeman version, and I think that's a good start. And do we have the we have React and React DOM, but we don't have React Basic or things like that, do we? We do not. Okay, so I think we can spago install React Basic and React Basic Classic, because I believe those are the things we'll need. And we do have React and React DOM. I'm not even sure we need that. I know we need them here. And we have a fairly old version of React. Not sure that's a good thing. So let's take a look at React Basic Classic. Just to see which version of React are meant to be supported there, and it might depend on Classic. It's updated to 0.14, but don't know that we want that quite yet. The package.json depends on React 17.01, but let's blame this just to see. Before it was 16.13, and that was with PureScript 0. Yeah, that's kind of probably what we want. So let's go to this and try and remove the node modules. There's no node modules here. Okay, so npm install. And Parcel, I think, is now probably released, if I remember. It's out of beta. Version 2. Okay. npmi. Okay, and right. So then complexity shall appear. Yeah. And we shall see. Well, actually, let's go check out my branch where I put my examples. Okay. PureScript React Basic. Yeah. And right, and I have the example folder. No, hold on, I must have it in the branch, which is one commit ahead, point to upgraded examples. Oh, I see. Yes. Here we go. So we need to try with something simple. might want to do this with something like components for a start. And here we're getting the container. Let's call this app. I mean, calling it Elm is cute, but okay. So we get element by ID, that's fine, and then appearance of because app prime, yeah. So here we really want to do render with React Basic DOM, and this is the React Basic DOM render, isn't it? Taking a React element. Well, no, it's React DOM. Okay. Let's check whether they're the same or not. Let's see if we can get to definition here. No. Apparently not. Why not? Let's restart script ID. Try and save. And we can go to definition. And so this is React DOM. And in our case, we're going to want to be going towards React Basic DOM. Is that right? Where is that going to be? React Basic. It's an environment. React Basic DOM is its own thing. So we're going to need to import that, I believe. Yeah. Spago install React Basic DOM. And it contains the React Basic DOM modules. And when we go to DOM and render, relies on React DOM.render, but it has a slightly different signature, right? It uses render prime. It says it relies on React DOM render, but it's a different signature. So I think, yeah, that makes sense. And we're going to need to change how we do things. So let's start from something that works. Container, is that the good example? Component counter. Let's start with counter. Da-da-da. Maybe test counter. Counter. Okay. Module counter was not found. React Basic DOM events. Maybe we need to Spago build. Yes, indeed. And so we'll not use React DOM render anymore. And that's taking a long time. Maybe because the ID is building in the back. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it succeeded, and that's good. Can we npm start? Oh yeah, we need to do type equal module. That's a new thing. And we have a counter. Okay. So now to the difficult things. What we want instead of counter here is something like counter prime. Well, I suppose maybe doesn't really make sense to have this elsewhere. So for now, let's repatriate it here. Make sure we have what we need. Okay. And conflicting definitions because we are importing something that doesn't exist anymore. And component is also there multiple times now. So, yes, of course, because it's React Explorer. So we'll want React Basic Explorer now, right? Instead of React Basic Classic. So that's going to be what we'll aim for, but for now, we'll do that. And maybe Classic Explorer or something. And at least we'll want component from that. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, but let's try and let this Basic Classic, and I think that's solved now, right? Yeah. Okay. So this component is fine, but we're going to call it now actually. Can we do as B? Does this work? Yeah, I believe it does. Can I namespace this stuff so that we can migrate? Okay. And let's call this prime, and let's try and get the a version that will work for with the Explorer way. So render app C and app is counter prime. So we'll probably be okay having something like that. But it sounds like GSX it returns an element, and that's good. we kind of want that because we want to get back to r.react element if we can. And I think element here web is web DOM element actually. Interesting. Let's go to the definition. React element, and that's yeah, that's for an import. Yeah, okay. Not sure what that means at this point. Not sure how to, in which direction to take things. Let's see more or less what the counter type would look like. Actually, would that look like a bit like some of the stuff that we have here? Don't we have a counter here? Yeah, in fact, we have the whole thing, but yeah, let's get something like that. Oops, what have I done here? I don't think I copied. Yeah. I'll save this and add it here together with some rendering. And oh my god, this, I made this quite obfuscated right there. But let's try. I think I can make it much less involved, like so. And why is render here? I think that's just my mistake. I think it was like so. Yeah. Okay. So that looks like, well, let's not change this for now. Okay, if I save, what's going to happen? Well, there's plenty of things that are going to be missing, I believe. Okay, first of all, I suppose counter. Then component is actually well, it might actually be useful to have the whole thing here. So let's do it like so. And then the Furco free. Yeah, I hope that works. Might need to import those. That looks like we have that maybe. Another T. Right. So it depends on the type of co that we use here. Data factor pairing co. Are we actually importing pairing? We are importing pairing. We could stay with co for now. In which case, I think This might work, but I need to import. Cool. Although for some reason now it's happy. So let's import store T. I mean, I'm really not sure about. Yeah, no, maybe that's fine. Okay. And should I just get rid of all of this? Maybe not all. I think I'm still at the step that, well, no, I dealt with this, so it's mostly the main that actually would be useful to maybe have. And maybe mostly about the go-free example. And we wouldn't need to add the controls nor the store. It'd be mostly about exploring the go-free example. Okay. And what do we have now? We have render. Ah, yes. That's okay. We can probably just do this for now. Hey, actually builds. Okay, so now we can try and see how we could get this to, how we can get the mains to align if we can. So here we're expecting a React element, which is not like a web DOM element. And we unsafe create leaf element blah. Explore, for example. So let's go check out unsafe. I think, where does unsafe create leaf element come from? From React itself. Okay, so that we can use actually. I think, although the fact that render here just directly uses an element type from WebDOM. Oh, but hold on, this is where we attach the thing. I'm being confused. So JSX, render prime, render then. What is render then? Ah, it's a foreign import. I see. So it's going to be maybe about the JSX type. Let's see if we go to definition for that. Unfortunately, we cannot. How come? Maybe because it's b.jsx. Can we get that through here? Yes, we can. So that's it's also a foreign import. And so let's see. Oopsie. That's fine. Capture prime text props and return the GSX, and then we pass this to render. Render from React Basic DOM. I think if I do remind me where this renders from. Is that true? Oh, no, it can't be. Hold on. Not looking at the right thing, I don't think. Commodity QI, that's not going to be what we want either. We're going to want PureScript React Explorer, so let's get this. And it's a React DOM render. We've said this before. And React DOM render takes a React element and an element. It's an effect, maybe React component. I see, which is why. Let's move this downstairs. Right, so this is just C. And UI, instead of being JSX, so maybe we say, we do import React DOM just for a second. And we say rd.render UI where UI equals this. And we need to import to Explorer from from React Explorer. Yeah. Actually, right here. A non-value code, for example, because what we want here is actually counter now. Except apparently not. Effect string with React element. I suppose that's this Comonad there, I think. Although, oh yeah, render UI C, right? Element ID, container, keys container, unsafe PowerShell, blah. And void, maybe void. I see, so maybe it's something else. Maybe it's because of me doing strange things with the types. So let's check. Yeah, this is all very strange. Let's see that the Explorer makes sense. Looks like it does. But counter as component counter, okay, maybe we don't want to import these people. Yeah, because maybe, yeah, of course we're not returning fx string. Yes, we're definitely not returning fx string. Do we need UI? Maybe we do. Let's just import React Explorer. Right, of course. And now, yes. So let's go back to example. Definitely not there. And do something like I probably have some, yeah, probably something like so. I don't know, let's go free, something like so. And how did we manage to decouple things here? I don't remember. Do I want to have the same decoupling? I think I do. I think it allows me to have count here. And then to maybe call this render and make this counter. And then move right will be this, which in my example I think is just ink. Hey, compiles. Okay, so that I'm actually fairly surprised. Okay. Object transform. So let's Spago build again. Could be that this double. Could be that these two things here don't work well together. But let's still see. Yeah, maybe maybe try to let go of that. Maybe just do that. Doesn't seem very happy. Maybe a component with unit. Yeah, pure unit, I think you want here. No, not even that. Yeah. And yeah, no, we do need void here. And we can try that again. No, that doesn't work. Let's try, let's see whether we have broken the old code as well. We have. Interesting. So maybe some caching shenanigans. So let's Spago clean. That's not a thing, is it? Would be nice. So let's just run.spago and output. Build again. Where do I initialize my I here? Count 0. Right, I think this can be this. Can we build? Can npm start? And no. Length of 0, but index is 0. Don't know what that means. It is not a wasm thing. So index must be monotonic. That's quite cute, but that's not that, not that. And then some other unrelated things. So which version did we end up having? 200 RC0. And I mean, when we did this should work, right? But it doesn't, and that's problematic because that's the same code except for some stuff that's not evaluated. So except maybe for the do, I suppose. But counter prime, letter increment, da da da. I don't think I've changed anything here. Let's rebuild. Hold on. What is this? Thread and name panic at index out of bound. It is a Rust thing. Huh. Okay. Maybe parcel is a little bit. When is that? When was that released? August 3rd. Shall we use a different tag then? It's a bit strange, right? Because import formula. let's go take a look at output test main index.js. Looks fine, right? Modes and exports and main. Not sure what's up here. Triggered by many different situations. Gone with the build from source version. So maybe it's an OS thing. That's not good. Rust backtrace. Back in Rust. And since 0 but index is 0. Rusty Nightly's panic. I kind of want to reinstall it worked fine just a second ago, right? Oh, there's some errors though. Parser watcher. Python is not set from command line. Cannot find any Python. Do I really not have Python? Could that be I do not? Okay. Let's install it. And let's remove modules and install. Those are warnings. Okay, let's try. Doesn't work. Object transform, blah, blah, blah. I suppose I could get in there and try and see what's up. Parcel. transformer.js, lib.js transformer.js, 355. Index out of bounds. .355. Underscore native transform, right? Which is probably a required native, and native is parcel SWC, which I assume are some Rust things. Could that have been updated recently? Maybe it's not pinned properly in parcel. Just checking that I don't have the same thing running elsewhere. Oh, that's frustrating. Files. Strange. There's a dist. I suppose I could remove the dist. To create one, right? No. Oh, that's strange. I thought it did. Try and build. I suppose it's HTML, there's HTML. See what's up. Okay. And let's, we have an HTTP server. Well, let's start one with this index.html. Serve. HTTP server. Not found. So that works. Okay. So indeed, there's something weird going on with. I mean, it could be because I haven't restarted my computer in ages. There's a logo now for this software and game development. Not ideal. Definitely not ideal. But it works, I suppose. How about this? Does this work? No, it doesn't. Could it be that something is still running? Language server, maybe not. PS only process name. Oh boy. Yeah, no, I think it's because the name is just crazily big. Node. It's just not module, not IPC. That's just all VS Code. Same. There is a serve, right? That's the same. And watch. Same. SWC Igma transform React refresh. Oh, that's the original code. Okay. Let's see if we can actually find something about that. Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, obviously. Okay, that's sad. So it's about React, but why would it? And it's about refresh. It's trying to do something smart with React and it's not succeeding. It could be about the React version. Shall we just try to update to React 17? Let's try. I didn't remove the package lock. Okay. Well, let's npm start and see whether. Nope. And yeah, we don't have the whole error message here when we do npm start, whereas when we do watch, then we do. Okay, SWC. Let's try and find that code somewhere. Let's look at some Rust. How about that? Well, I can't say that this makes a lot of sense, but mod refresh, src refresh mod. refresh mode, and 590. Maybe refresh mode depends on whether the version is correct. Could we please have like a link to a proper GitHub repo? Let's just creates GitHub is the WC project. Yeah, there we go. And we have errors here. Repo panics. Type checker. Make the web development faster, super fast. TypeScript, JavaScript, compiler, written in Rust. I see. SWC ECMA transforms. Is that going to be? Transforms. Refresh. Transform React source refresh. Mod 7 days ago. Expose.take. Tags. And pretty old version 0.250. I mean, maybe that's the commit hash. Yeah, because it's not clear. Well, it's not even clear whether we're in the right folder, the right repo. We are in a very very old version, but this one's this one has a fix or whatever it is. I don't know what those colors mean. I suppose that's latest, and that's not latest. Okay, so green means latest. So maybe it would be nice to have the latest version. Maybe we can find out what the diff is if we understand. Let's see, 1 second. That goes to 0.39. So clearly each module is independent. So understanding the releases based on that is not going to be easy. But I suppose if I do 0.25, 1 here, maybe something will pop up. or not. Not at all. And okay. Let's transfer source ellipse. That's the cargo tonal. There we go. Yeah. And transforms React. And those are the versions. So I suppose if we go back in time here, at some point we'll find it. Zero 37, 036, 035, 034, 33.1, 33, 32, 31, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go, 25.0 path equal react blah. So that takes us to this commit, which doesn't really feel like this commit, but let's try and believe it, and then say that React src, I suppose I probably could have done that instead, right? That's 0.25.1. Okay, so that's not the one we want actually, so we need to go back once more. There we go. And now in source refresh mod line 590, expert or spread, create element. So that would be in output, right? Foreign, and save create element and create element. I remember seeing something about spread operator, but then I suppose the question is, why is Parcel using such an old version? That's a big problem. So can we get a more recent version of Parcel somehow? What did it look like? Parcel 2 is being worked on here. File your code, blah blah blah. React. Just take me there. Explain to me why SWC here is so old. Are you actually importing transformers? Hold on. Is that a Parcel core lib? Might be just that React refresh wrap. What is this? React refresh. That doesn't sound like that's what it is. Parcel transformer.js. That is the one, right? Yeah. Parcel Transformer JS uses SWC. Version 0 to 11. Zero to 13. Will that be an API's process WC? And yeah, when we looked in the node modules here, I think we saw binaries in parser transformer JS, didn't we? We saw the parsers WC dot node and yeah, those seem like binaries. I'm not sure how that works. Startup node and API build. No, it's not wasn't, is it? Not clear. But x86 GNU or muzzle, that could be one of our troubles here. Could we maybe LD those things? Definitely not the muzzle one, which kind of makes sense, to be honest. But the new one, neither. libgcc, not found. My node version is 0.14, like 14.16. Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't think it would be a problem, but it could be. Maybe I should Nix profile install Nix packages node. Node.js. It looked the same to me. It looked like 14.16. 14.17. Oh yeah, I need to first remove, but I think if I do upgrade it will work, right? No. Is that really just about that npm-rc? That's a bit annoying. Okay, I think we can Nix profile remove this. Okay. to upgrade npm. I wonder if npm comes with Node.js. I think it might. Yeah, I think it does. Okay, and same error. Annoying. Very annoying. And build doesn't have the same error. And we don't have a more recent version than 200RC0. It's called pre-release, but that's the one we have. Bump SWC. React fragment requires hierarchy pop. There's no precedence overweight. Combine assignments. And object key name function. Doesn't seem to pass SWC Sigma preset env SWC Sigma script. Those aren't the transformers. It does say transformer.js, so core cargo. Interesting. Feature parser transforms, blah blah blah. So maybe that includes all of those things and React as well. Must be. Yeah. That would make sense actually. Xmask script itself, cargo tomo 061. Yeah. But then it doesn't work. I could try and compile it, but what failed? Looks like everything failed. Why did it fail? Node 14, node 12. 14, one error. Check failure. One error, 0 warning. Yeah, that's the one. And then, okay, and run integration tests. Source maps. Right. Okay, so it's only the source maps. But do I want to compile this? I mean, do I want to recompile parcel? Not so sure I do. But it is a little bit tempting. Ooh, sorry. Or is there a config option that would allow me to avoid maybe I suppose maybe if there wasn't hot reloading. HMR. So we know it's the HMR that's causing the trouble, but hold on, this is not even. There we go, that's serving. Okay, maybe let's try. Could be that this will work. Boom, boom. And do, I believe. And UI. And it actually reloads. And okay, we state 0, which is sort of what we want actually. And on click, it's supposed to increment, but it doesn't. State slash show count, wrap free ink, and sub decrement increment. Ink is supposed to increment. Okay, counter. Let me add the no HMR here and see if we npm start. Yeah, okay. Okay, we don't have to compile Rust. That's good, pretty good news, although we did waste a significant amount of time with that. But hold on, why are you 1? What happened? Oh. What? Okay. Okay, you just go to 1. Okay. So maybe this version didn't thread state correctly. That's very possible. It's very possible. Ignores the thing, returns a tuple which renders and does add 1 to count. This is really unreadable. I think I have another version elsewhere that's more readable. Must be this. Yeah, I think it must be this. Indeed it is. And it's going to be this. The unfold co-free with the eval, the increment, and no counter interpreter. It's directly there. And ink is co-counter interface unit. That looks the same, yeah. And there's no more counter interpreter and no more mk counter either. Just counter, and without the store T, being co-free counter interface. And right, we have a slightly different model there, and we'll go back to that one instead. And I don't think this is useful anymore, nor is this. This we can keep. And this seems to, at least recompile. Does this rebuild? Yeah, it does, but, and yeah, okay, so it does the thing that it used to do, so that's good. Okay. So now we can go back to asking ourselves how we're going to make this work with JSX. So I suppose one thing is that instead of UI returning a React element, we could make it return a JSX, right? So let's not import React Explorer anymore, nor less nor sum, and let's try to say, well, how about if we return a JSX here? What would change? First of all, we wouldn't be able to do pure component anymore. And what would we want Explore to return? We'd want Explore to return something that can be put inside app, like something like props to JSX, to be honest, right? So if Explorer returned props to JSX, that'd be pretty good. Although there is a question about what we do with props, but it sounds like we probably want them. So it's going to change the type signature of Explorer quite a bit, though. So maybe we start without them. Let's start without them. So JSX, hello. Actually, interestingly enough, this can take a record of props, actually. How does that work? It was React r.react class from, not from React Basic DOM, but from React. Those are the level bindings, and React class React class takes a type to a type, so it returns something with props. A record of props. When we say pure component, we return this. And I suppose in comparison, when we do pure script React Basic, for instance, or DOM or classic or what? I suppose DOM. We do render, which gets a JSX. That's one thing. But I think we want to see how React Basic Classic actually creates a JSX, no? Classic component spec, that looks a lot like the React pure script React that we were just looking at, component spec and whatnot. Component prop. Let's see, create component. It takes a name. Right. So maybe we do b dot create component, React Explorer and component prime. We need to make it in order to receive, and passing it some initial state and the render. If counter to props, the type of component here is props. At this point, we do know what the props are going to be. Their label. I don't know how we're going to handle props versus state, whether we're going to make the same distinctions of props being immutable in React and state being mutable. We might want to do that. So let's say that counter takes props. Like this. And yeah, no, we're not sure, because we might want to make it so that explore of our counter is the thing that takes props. And that ideally would want to return a something that can be yeah, right now let's make it like so, and say that we're just try and render it in the same way. We did kind of lose the app, by the way, I think, but it's fine. And so we explore counter, but explore counter will want to return, then we return JSX props to JSX here. That's a possibility. And then we don't use props anymore. Then we create component. We say that JSX is JSX. So let's say b.jsx. Fine. Fine. Comonadic, what? Okay. Import control Comonad. And right. So now, how do we get state? So we create a component. What does that look like then? We want to look in the examples if they're around. Okay, let's let go of parcel stuff, and that's fine. Okay, and yes, the examples. Right, I think I had it just in front of me. But so we then would want to make that thing. So maybe we just make it here, like b.make, and then pass the thing and the props. No, here instead we we're doing something a little bit different than this. We are passing initial state and render, and we are saying where like so. And so initial state we say is actually space, which is coming from where? From the component. So initial state is space, and render will have self available to it. And so therefore we'll try to do something like so. And maybe look at some other examples where render self is a bit more involved. Maybe here it is a bit more involved indeed. But I think, yeah, we need to type check this. So get state, do we have access in this monad? Which is which one? I think we have access to set state at least. If so maybe, and then maybe just state then. So we just say state. Is it b.state? I don't know actually. Okay, render self plus self.set. I see. So self.state, I think. Yes, and then self.setState, and we pass not as this, but just a function, and we ignore previous state, and we just pass the new one. And then we just need to import runco if we have it somewhere. We should. And then I see, that's probably because we need to do this. Indeed, and render, however, could not match type. What is that? Space black. Yeah, I think returning props to JSX is not. Maybe are we returning JSX instead? Maybe not. Okay, well, I think that's definitely progress, and just have to figure out what extract is going to return. Right now we're returning B2GSX, but maybe we need to return you know, props to B2GSX instead, right? In that case, maybe it even works. No, not yet, but close. Sounds like that's really just a question of some type parameter, like some record that's supposed to be open, but for some reason is not. Okay, but we're getting close. I'm not sure whether this is going to make sense, but we're sort of following the type at this point, and definitely refactoring is underway. So we'll stop here, and yeah, thanks so much for watching, and see you on Thursday for more PureScript React Basic Explore. Take care, bye-bye.